Yes, guys, welcome back to Kings of the Bridge. How are you all doing? Big up every single one of you in the building. The announcement of Leon Rosenior. I got tagged today about the new manager and the way that I need to pronounce his name. I'm trying to get it right now. Rosenior. 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 That's it. Rosenior. That's what I'm going to stick with right now. Rosenior. There we go. Rosenior. Chelsea have now Rosenior as the manager. I'm not joking, honestly, Louis. Like, people have been getting at me saying you can't even pronounce our manager's name. And I'm like, it reads Rose Noir. Rose Noir. Where does the E come in this? Rosenior. Rosenior. Rose Noir. Anyway, fuck knows what we're getting on about. Big up every single one of you's in here right now. Please do me a favor, guys. Get the likes run up. Let's go. Please. We have 24 likes right now. If every single one of you's hit it right now, please, I'd massively appreciate it. Mighty Silver, what are you saying, bro? Says bless up, Jem. Bless up, chat. How are we, guys? Good to see every single one of you's in here. We are here to talk about, it's pronounced Rose Noir. That makes no sense. You can't say that to me. Row the George. George says row the bloody boat. Anyway, it is what it is. He's been announced. He's the Chelsea manager. We got that earlier on today. We are going to be doing a tactical deep dive like we do with every new manager that comes to this club. We try and preempt, work out what we think that they might do with the current squad, how they were going to line up, what they've done in their past, how they tactically look, especially under Strasbourg. We're going to look into all of these things today. We're going to be talking about that as well. I know the game is on tomorrow. Hopefully there'll be a preview on tomorrow for you guys. Before that, there might even be a space on tomorrow as well. So keep an eye out for that, which I'll keep you guys posted. Toby says, Gem, just popping in to say hi. I will miss this live as we will be on my bus soon and my headphones are dead. But big up to you, Toby. Forget the headphones, brother. Just turn it down on your phone, bro. Turn it down on your phone and listen. Now, big up Toby as always. Have to admit, sort of feel bad for Strasbourg. Yeah, I've seen the comments. So I meant to say it's pronounced. Nah, that's good, bro. That's good. Yes, Pest Lord. How you doing, man? Good to see you as well as always. I hope you're blessed. This is Rosa, the gaffer. Welcome, Rosa, the gaffer. Yeah, let's get straight into it, man. There's a lot to really talk about. Obviously, we'll look at Fabrizio Romano's current tweet about, about the new manager himself actually being announced. I didn't get to watch the interview earlier. I saw bits of it, but it was very ballsy of him to actually come out and, sit there and explain to the Strasbourg fans, the people of Strasbourg, as to why it was too much of a hard decision to turn away the club, the opportunity of managing Chelsea. And he kind of said it. He said, Chelsea are pretty much here. Strasbourg are here. And when someone comes knocking like Chelsea, then you would be stupid to kind of decline it. I still also feel like you might be very stupid to accept it, especially under this current board that we have, who are on their fifth manager, will be on their fifth manager when he starts his first game as manager at Charlton as well. So listen, fair play to him. Ballsy for him to come over here. I'm assuming he was promised the world again from the sporting directors in terms of the player signings, allowing him to do his job, giving him time, all the things that we've heard in the past. But I continue to deep down say this when it comes to the sporting directors. I don't really trust them. Whatever they're saying to these managers and then what we're seeing a year or two later is two different things. You know what I mean? So at this moment in time, yes, we have a new manager. God knows where we're going to be at the end of the season. I hope we're in Champions League. I hope we've won a couple of trophies. I really do. But, if someone like Liam himself had a bad run like Maresca did with 2 trophies behind him, by the way, 2 trophies behind him before he went on that, 1 point in 7 games, even though it wasn't just about that, then it would be a very, very, very interesting scenario to see what our board does, how they react, how they move and whatever else. So this is why I don't really pay too much attention to how the board view this or what they say, because they said the same things about Maresca when he come through the doors. What they're saying now, I don't pay attention. What I will do though is I will back this manager. I back any manager that comes at my football club, even the ones like Poch, who I was livid about being announced on this live coming to our football club. I was not happy with it. I knew it was just a waste of time, and it ended up being a waste of time, and I still backed him. I still gave him the opportunity. I always give the benefit of the doubt until proven otherwise. And I'm going to do the same thing with Liam. And I really hope that he can show us something. That's what it's about, right? Big up Ram in the building. Says, on that, Xabi Alonso rejected Madrid in 2019. Really? Fucking hell. Jesus Christ. Breezy says, I don't trust any of them, regardless. Big up, Jem. Breezy, I hear you, and I feel the same, bro. I really, really do. Mind you, I think Gary O'Neill is a good appointment, but not sure if Gasbrook Ultras are going to feel the same. I don't really know if Gary O'Neill is a good appointment. I really don't. And as I'm talking about him now, obviously Matt just popped in as well. We've just started. Big up, Matt, who's now joined us as well. How are you, Matt?
Jim, I'm good. How is everyone in the chat? I was listening to how you were pronouncing.
Oh, can you tell me? Because I don't know.
I think it's Rosenior.
You're probably spot on, Rosenior. I've got to get used to saying.
You then said it so eloquently well, Rosenoir. I thought,
yeah,
if Jem was French all of a sudden. I was like, no, maybe have I got it wrong? I thought it was Rosenior, but
I'm getting to the point.
18 months won't know his name anyway, so.
I'm getting to the point though, mate, where I think I'm just going to call him Liam. Come on, Liam, you can do this, mate. Exactly. You can do this. So yeah, no, you've only just literally joined. We're just talking about the appointment, and I basically said that whatever the sporting directors have said, the Chelsea, football club announcement about him being announced, and all the same bollocks that we heard them say about Maresca, they've also said again about Liam. My trust for these sporting directors in terms of how far these managers ago have gone out the window. So them saying that they think he's professionally the right person, and everything else for me doesn't really mean much when it comes from them. I don't know how you feel about it. For me, it's more about just giving these managers the opportunity, because it's not their fault they're here. They've obviously want to take this opportunity. It's Chelsea Football Club. They see it as a massive club. It is a massive club, and they want to thrive to the opportunity. And I will always give the manager the opportunity until the benefit of the doubt is proven out, until I'm proven wrong, really, is quite honest here. So, this is not one where I think we point at the manager at this moment in time. This is just, us, in terms of the sporting directors, mate, it just makes me feel like everything they've said on the last 5 managers is just going to be the same for this one, sort of thing.
Yeah, but I think I think you got it in one there. I mean, if I was Liam, maximize as much as you can out of this small window you're going to be at the club. Learn to be, Louis, good to see you, mate. Learn to be with all these big players and try and maximize as much as possible, because you don't know what's going to happen. But the fact that he's on like a 6.5-year contract, it's massive. I mean, we all thought he was going to be on like 2.5, something like that. But again, like you were saying, these contracts mean nothing. Like, all it's going to really do is say, look, we believe in you. But what was Maresca, wasn't it? Like, what was he on in him? Was he like 5 years or something, Maresca?
He was on. They were always on 6 years or 5 years or 7 years, isn't they? Something like that, to be fair.
But I think you're right though with him. I think anyone who's kind of going to be bad mouthing him from the start, I just think that we've got to get behind him. It's going to be really difficult, but Jem's going to run for it still. I don't know too much about his tactics. That's why I've come on it, because I want to learn from.
This is where we're going to go with in a minute. Obviously, we're going to have a look at it. I obviously can't, if it was on playback, we'd be actually watching it, which is the fun part. We'd actually tactically being able to visualize it together, which is what pisses me off more than anything. But we can't do that. So what I'm having to do is bring out screenshots and just comments from other individuals that have and have watched or know of Liam Rosenior himself, Rosenior, Rose. I might just call him Rose.
Oh, that's it. Next Jose.
I mean, his name's Rosenior. Rosenior. I can't do it, man. This is just becoming stupid. Rosenior. Rosenior. Okay, there's Rams got it there. Rosenior. That's what
There
I've
you
got to
go.
start saying.
That's it.
Rosenior. Rosenior. Fucking hell, we're going to be sitting there talking Rosenior the whole time. Gemzino and Matty Cash, how are you doing? We're a good dreamer. How are you, bro? Hope you're good, man. Make sure you smash the likes. There's nearly 40 people in here already. 10 minutes in. Big up every single one of you. Keep getting the likes up. Make sure you're following us as well. We've got so much coming up. I've been talking to Con and a bit with Matt as well about what we got coming up as well. Keep your eyes out, man. We're trying to make things happen. Try and make some good shows for you guys, as always. We got Joe. I'm confident he's going to suit us better than Maresca. His football is better, faster, more creative, and he gets the best out of young players. Let's go. Let's see. What's he saying? Less ego too, and a plan B is what he's saying. Which is interesting, Matt, isn't it? To be quite honest with you, that comment there.
Yeah.
The problem for me is I haven't watched him enough to really know how tactical flexible he is, how good he is in in-game management. Does he play players out of position, and has he got a lot of rotation to his game? Is he always rotating the formation? Is he always rotating the players like we have seen over the previous managers? These are all the questions that we need to answer. And funny enough, I've got some of the answers that, well, I say some of the answers, but some of the opinions from other people, like some of you in here that have watched him enough, who are saying this is the type of football you can expect. This is the formations you can expect. This is how he would ideally like to set up, and other bits and bobs, which we'll be getting in a second. Marty says Blueco doesn't hire managers; they hire head coaches. I don't think we can disagree with that one. I'm going to just say Gaffer. Gaffer what? Just say Gaffer. All right, you're just going to say Gaffer. Okay, cool. Swear. Big up, Josh. How you doing, bro? I also know an old friend of his, and trust me, he's got balls. Grew up with him in the slums of Bristol. Fairs, Jimmy. Jimmy seems to have a real good idea of what to expect, which is interesting. Let the bum. I was literally about to say it as well. That's what made it even worse. I nearly said what COC Pairs Lord said there, for fuck's sake, guys. Big up Hassan in the building as well. What Jimmy said, that's what every fan said after a manager sacking every time under Roman and Clearlake. Fez, Hassan, big up to you, bro. Cal says, let's hope Sanchez isn't on the halfway line. Well, that's what I have seen under Mr. Liam, is that he tends to use the goalkeepers as centre backs, which is a very interesting one. Rosenior. We just need simple tactics at this stage. For me, I agree with Jimmy. I think the player qualities might be there. They might not be at all experienced, but the quality's there. Don't complicate things and just play players in their position, especially if you've got a fixed squad. If you've got no reason to have to switch it or change things, don't complicate it, right? And how many times under Maresca we said, why is he complicating it? Why has he played this one left back and that one in midfield when he should be here and that one over there, and that, like Chalobah right back, for example, we've seen him and it killed us, right? Do you know what I mean? For example, like why? Like these are the things that I think we need to cut out. I think he has to cut out of his game, not Rosenior. This is the things that we wanted Maresca to cut out of his game. But in terms of Rosenior, obviously, who knows? Who knows what and how he's going to line up and what he's going to do to manage the squad, how he's going to get the best out of it, who he's going to start with. Will he have a core lineup, Matt? Will he go with an actual spine and go, you know what? Big decisions. I might have to put some people on the bench, but this is my core. These are the things that we're going to see.
I don't mind seeing that, though. If that is the case, I don't mind seeing that, because that is one thing under Maresca. I mean, whether it was him or not making the decisions, having that inconsistency in the team was really frustrating, and we needed to start to build a spine. And it's just, I think that was one thing with Maresca, whether it was him or not, it was the very frustrating part of watching us.
Yeah. I mean, Pies came up with this comment from Matt Law, which wasn't long ago. It says that the other coach interviewed was actually Felipe Luis, which is interesting because I know certain individuals in his chat, like Louis, wanted this guy. I even said I wouldn't have minded it myself when we spoke ourselves, Matt, about the potentials of who comes in next.
Do you think that's just more of a brief to say, there were other options, or do you actually genuinely think that he was a part of the candidacy? Because I just can't believe that, to be honest.
Just depends how much you believe Matt Law, I guess, isn't it? I mean, this is him that's written this in the Telegraph, and he's also mentioned the fact that the fee paid for Rosenior was much larger than Chelsea, much larger than Chelsea would have had to pay for the other coach they interviewed for the post. So that other coach was Felipe Luis. So effectively, what they're saying there is Felipe Luis would have been cheaper to bring to Chelsea, but Chelsea went in to pay more just to bring Rosenior to the club because they felt they valued him more for whatever reasons. That's what I'm understanding from that.
Yeah. Well, put it this way. So my dad's a Portsmouth fan. Gary O'Neill was linked with Portsmouth, and when Portsmouth were in the bottom three of the Championship. So the fact that he's gone to Strasbourg, if he then has an inevitability of coming to Chelsea, that's bad.
Felipe Luis is one where I only accept as a Maresca replacement simply because of his trophies, is what Hassan says. I hear that.
Well, you really hear that. For being that kind of younger manager as well, and he seems to have done well. He's been.
Carol says here, I call him Rossibu, but with Strasbourg, this season they had struggled getting into shooting positions and actually finishing their chances. I wonder who else struggles with that. Spot on. Who else struggles in front of goal and doesn't bury the chances that they create or decide to go backwards when we're on a transition in attack, which we continuously see. And how many chances do we actually create that we actually don't convert, shall I say? That's a good point. Faye says, I think Louis is still a potential option down the line. Depends how long this guy lasts, I guess, isn't it? It's just like, it's like you have this massive list, Matt, and you've got all these pictures of all these young, talented managers. Yeah, this is Chelsea board, right? And they've got it on, like, Ed Barley's got it on his wall, and fucking, the sporting directors have got it on their wall, and some of them have got X's on their face, like, and they're just following the board, of all these young managers, and they're just going to do the same. Now they've got Liam to put a tick next to his name. If he goes wrong, they put a cross on his name and they go on to the next one. And it's Felipe Luis. And then when he disappears, it's probably Gary O'Neill. It's just God. Fuck off with the briefs. The Eunice paranoia about Gary O'Neill becoming Chelsea manager is silly. I've not seen it. Big up Carlito though. Hope you're well, bro. Dan Macca, how are you, bro? Says big up Jim. Good to see you, brother. How are you? In the chat as well.
That was with Tuchel in the background.
Lau, you have to hope so. If not, hold out for 6 months and we'll bring Penders. Well, yeah, that's something I think can happen very, very soon. Very shortly, Carlio. Let us just get through the bits that I wanted, bro, and then you can come in. You can then come in, my mate. But let me just fly through these bits and bobs we've got to go through. But Liam has a football brain. I don't care if he hasn't managed a big club before. Neither did Maresca, and he mudded him in the Championship. Top of Conference League with worse squad than Maresca's. That's what Jimmy's saying. Okay. There's a lot of mixed bags, I'd say, Matt, in the chat, right? Still feels that. You get that, right? And I understand it because I feel a little bit unsure. And I said that from the beginning. In my opinion, it's another inexperienced manager that doesn't really have anything in his background to say he's done this or he's done that. All right, he was at Hull. He's been at Strasbourg. He played football at a decent level. Don't get me wrong. But I just worry that, is this job that they're being given? And again, we can say the same for maybe Maresca, but all right, he won a championship before he came to Chelsea. But like, is this job a little bit too big for them in the moment? Is my worry. Is it just too early to be throwing in these people when he's halfway through a season with Strasbourg? He could have potentially won a Conference League there, maybe got them Champions League, even though I think they're 7th or something, or they're 7 points behind the position at the moment. Do you know what I mean? It's just a lot of questions in around it still that I think we needed to see with him.
I think a lot of people are saying he's a good talker, and I certainly see that. And I like the fact that he's quite, ballsy when he is on the touchline. My worry is that I don't want Chelsea just to become a bit of a daycare centre to make sure the players feel good about themselves. When you're at these big clubs, you've got to have managers who are just killers, who are just no nonsense, like you die for the shirt sort of thing. And I just find what's happening, and I don't think it's just at Chelsea, I think it's at a lot of clubs now, they have to really protect the players, make sure you don't hurt their feelings, because if they do, their agents are going to get on the phone. And I just find I think he's going to be a really good person for the young players, and you can kind of see why they potentially brought him in. But then in saying that again, we hear that about every single brief, about every single manager we're bringing in at the moment, that they want to bring in the youth, they want to play, make them feel good on the pitch and be a good kind of the psychological side off the pitch. And I just find it's just another thing again. And my worry is when shit hits the fan, excuse my friend, that's when I worry, because it's not just
it's a different pressure, isn't it, when you're at Chelsea? It's not like just being at Hull or, you know what I mean?
I worry more about what the guys up above are going to react to it, and they're making it, oh no, he's here for the long run. You see how he's reacted with Maresca. They've reacted with Maresca, so he's not going to be any different.
Yeah, no, I fully hear you, bro. And I think that's how most of us, I would say, would feel. Some maybe more positive than others. I had a chat with Carlito and Benji on a live here, and they said that they're excited for the signing of him. They think that he's going to do very well. They think he's a very good manager. Fair enough. I didn't discredit it. Didn't say that I disagree. I don't know enough to be saying that. For me, I've always been like this. If I don't know enough about a manager or I've watched enough about a manager, I'm very proofs in the pudding. I will back you. You will have my 100% backing. I will not slag you from day one. I will just not like that. I back every manager, even if I don't like it, like Poch. And, you show us what you can do. You really show us what you can do. But if the shit hits the fan again and we go down the route of having these problems again and the pressure increases and he can't get us out of the rut and whatever, I'm not even going to moan. Do you know what? One thing I'm going to say about this guy, I'm not even going to moan. I'm not even going to blame him. It's all it's going to do is make me realize what we spoke about today or before he was announced on these shows where we both said it's too early for this guy. Why are we putting him in this position? Yeah. And yes, he's going to accept it because he's a young manager who's ballsy, who backs himself. But it's a different kind of pressure, right? We know this. It's a completely different pressure with the fans on your back, with the sporting directors on your back, the expectations that's required, which we still keep at high expectations as fans, because we don't, we shouldn't drop our expectations. Why should we? You want to bring these managers in? I'm still holding my expectations. We should do. This is what we want for our club. And like we spoke with Con yesterday about, and Con was spot on. He said the day that we start celebrating, he said the day that we stop celebrating Chelsea goals because it stops, it stops Arsenal from winning and whatever, is the day we become Spurs. Because that's what Spurs would do. Why would you not celebrate Enzo Fernandez scoring a goal? All right, fucking Arsenal the league. Like, it's true. It's the same bullshit. We should have our own standards. We shouldn't be sitting there like Spurs fans, for example, having these kind of mimics. We should be looking at ourselves and going, "What the fuck? We've got standards, mate. Do you know what I mean? We have standards." But I do like the fact that the breakout clause. There's a breakout clause there too. I didn't actually know that. Is there? There's a breakout clause in this. Interesting. Jem, have you seen the Simon Phillips article about meeting? Well, yes and no. I've not read it. I'll be quite honest with you. I don't really give two fucks. Said this to Carlito as well. He did send it to me, and he said, there was some comments about what Maresca did and this, that, and the other. But my mind's too focused on the future and the now and this and what to expect from this guy, So listen, I haven't read it, but we'll hear it. Let's just quickly go through Massive Pies tweet. What's going on here, bro? Pies. What's Piss saying? What's Piss saying? Is he pissing everywhere again?
Breaking. I don't know.
What we got here? What the fuck's this?
Oh, okay, yeah.
Breaking. Chelsea Supporter Trust members have declared the following. Oh, this is interesting. A 52.5% majority of members very unconfident that the way Chelsea is currently run while brings sustained on-pitch success in the next 3 to 5 years. And then it was across a vote of no confidence of 53.7%, majority in the ownership's football-related decision-making. So again, over half in that pair, that sort of sector. And then you've got across again to a 43.2% vote believing the sporting structure is not fit for the purpose.
Seemed quite low, that.
Yeah, that's lower. That's under half. 67.6% strong disagreement on Chelsea, demonstrating having a clear and effective plan for its football leaderships, including head coach appointments. And that's fucking strong. That's nearly That's nearly 3/4 of the people, nearly. Do you know what I mean on that one? Which is a huge percentage. A vote of no confidence of 46.3% in the team responsible for sporting this. What was that again? A vote of no confidence of 46.3% in the team responsible for CFC sporting decisions, sporting directors, recruitment, football operations. So under half the people were saying this is on the SDs. Is that what I'm getting from that? Sport for making these sporting decisions, I believe.
That's quite low again.
A 53.7% vote of very dissatisfied for the level of meaningful supporter engagement between the owners and fans.
Again, I think this is quite low. You know,
And then we
100%.
got a tick for a 57.3% majority of supporters believe they should not be expected to pay higher ticket prices to cover the financial impact of the club's commercial decisions and change in the football leadership. The fuck do you start with that, Matt?
Yeah, I mean, definitely the last one. You know, it's a joke that ticket prices are going up because of the shortfall of their own doing of not trying to get shirt sponsors, trying to bring more commercial revenue in that side. So they're somehow expecting the fans to pick up the fall for that. I'm a bit surprised though at the level. I thought it would be slightly hard. I was expecting a bit more like the 67% on a lot of the kind of questions which were there, which are the results from the survey.
How they not all 100%? I don't know, honestly. I don't know. I mean,
prices always, it's not
prices go up because prices always go up. It's not a conspiracy.
Well, that's fair, but I think at the same time, it's difficult for fans to justify paying that when they're seeing probably sporting decisions. But I understand what you're saying. Inflation, everything's going up in price, so I get that. But still,
yeah, and that just also falls on the government because the cost of living in the UK is astronomical now as well. So with everything else going on around it, there is a fair point to say why people are upset, why things are going up at the club. Yes, it goes with the increase of everything else. Inflation is real. I get that, but you know what I mean. Like it's I still understand why people are not happy about it. Fair enough. It's a breakout clause, Jim, based on performance, so I'm happy with that. So what does that mean? I need to know more. Send me a tweet. Send me a link to that. I need to read into the breakout clause.
What, like 2 years or something?
Yeah.
The world deals with irrespective of angry Chelsea fans. Yeah, Carlito, we know that the world's not fair, but still, it's not. We're allowed to say if it's expensive or not. Mudryk to save last season. Yes, please, Mudryk.
Let's go back to Rosenior because this was what we're talking about, right? From a starting formations aspect, from a system aspect, what can we expect from Rosenior? This is what I want to get into. Kind of want to move away from that from a second because this is what the whole topic of today is about. I really think the guy could be
talking about Rosenior.
Oh, okay, cool. Rosenior starting formations, and anyway, we've got a bit of a breakdown here, and it basically says that he's favoured 23 times. I'm assuming used a 3-4-2-1. So that is basically starting with a back three, Matt. He is also favoured in doing a 4-2-3-1 12 times. So between the two, yes, he favoured it more with a back three, maybe because of the type of players he has at Strasbourg. It made it easier for him to do that. Would it be more different at Chelsea because we have natural fullbacks in Cucurella, Reece James, Gusto? Maybe he favours the 4-2-3-1. He's used a 4-4-2 7 times, a 3-4-3-5, a 3-4-1-2 4 times, a 4-1-4-1 twice, and then the rest of them maybe. But you can see here, he's established all these different formations at least once. Do you know what I mean? Or actually tried to have a go at them. But it seems that his most favoured formation at the moment is a back three. Or you could potentially say a back four, So there's the sort of systems elements to it. Tuchel ball, I'm ready, is what Jimmy says. It feels like it. I don't really know if I like the idea of going into a back three because that means I think we play with natural wing backs, and that means Reece James and Cucurella will be in a position where they play the Tuchel system. What does that also mean for your wingers in Neto, Esteval, Garnacho? You got Kenda coming in the summer. How do you get them in? Because I'm sure Cole Palmer's on one side. And then you got a striker, You know, it leaves you more. It leaves you more with defensive players on the pitch than not. I don't think he's going to go down that route. That's my first comment of today. I don't think he will go into a back three. Maybe on the ball, so we might see ourselves in a back four, but we might on the ball go into a back three because maybe one of our fullbacks pushes up or both of them do. I don't know. Do you know what I mean? So I can see that happening, but I don't know about the whole back three thing. So yeah.
Could it be that because Strasbourg are kind of a lesser team within the Liga that they feel that
Play
they
like
have
that.
a bit more
Yeah.
defensive minded to try and keep in the game a bit more? I don't know.
Potentially. It could be something like that. I want to go over too quickly to Connor Holden's tactical analysis defensively and from an attacking standpoint as well, because I think it's quite an interesting read. It's not too long as well. He's also got a picture here, and it says Liam Rosner's Chelsea defensive principles. He says that Rosner's I keep saying Rosner, it's not even it, but Rosner's himself has stated he used to be a zonal guy, but he now favours a man-orientated approach. Whether it's a winger tucking into the back five or a back five on paper, Liam will match up against 5 forwards with 5 in the last line. So either like a 5-2-3, a 5-4-1 with wide centre backs in the line of 5 stepping into the half space, aggressive/proactive. So it's an aggressive back line of 5 pressing out to win the balls against the 5, for example. Profiles matter, used to protect half spaces in certain games inside and outside of profiles. And then you've got this kind of picture here that gives you an idea of how he defends. My only worry with that initial picture there, mate, I don't know about you, Matt, is why are they not in a line? Why are they so zigzaggy? And if you're an opposition and you're making a run into the space and the man on the ball is going to try and find you, in that sort of role, in that image specifically, that tells me that you're going to be caught in behind a lot easy. Like you're going to get caught in behind very easy. Do you know what I mean? It's a very unorganized back 5 when you look at it on paper.
You see, like with Ben, so you got Ben Chilwell on the left there. It's just a very awkward. Yeah, it's just very awkward. Don't understand why it's not straight. That's weird. And then obviously, and then you got the front 3. Okay.
And he's got like a 2 pivot with a 3 up front, which is a 5-2-3, yeah. But then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, yes, and with a back 5. But that might be because 2 of them in front are actual midfielders, so they're actually playing the back 3, which makes sense, right? So they would usually be in a back 3 with 2 midfielders sitting in front. Well, if you look at the arrows, the 2 that are meant to be marking the wider areas are, I'm assuming, your midfielders or, you know, centre backs that are aggressive enough to come out. But then you still have a back 3 in behind the 2 that go forward. Does that make sense? That's probably why it looks zigzaggy, because if you look at the back 3, they're actually all in line.
Yeah,
it's just the 2 in front, right? So I think that's probably what they're looking to do. I think we'll be using very similar. And this is my thing with it all, right? And that's a good point. We moan about rotation. We moan about different systems. We moan about different lineups. How do we feel about having another manager, Matt, who probably or potentially could look to rotate again? System, rotate players. How do we feel with the whole rotation element again, if that is the way that he ends up going?
I don't mind rotation if there. I mean, it's very obvious if there's impact with that rotation. But what I found last year, if there was rotation, that it was kind of just like for like, there wasn't really much change unless it was very reactionary change. And what I want to see from Rosenior is not reactionary, because that was one thing about Maresca. It was always reactionary instead of being the proactive one. So when we're at a point that there was increased pressure on us, then we would concede, and then almost the substitutions will come on too late, and then we're reacting to get a goal back. When you're seeing a player getting isolated or getting tired, especially with like Enzo Fernandez, if he is carrying an injury, you can see he's just completely getting outrun. They should have brought Santos on quicker and things like that. And he just obviously, for whatever reasons, who trusted Santos or not, didn't bring him on. And then that's why then the midfield is getting overrun. Then what would happen? You'd get that goal, they would concede a goal. Then all of a sudden, a player like Santos wouldn't then come on because we need a goal. So then a Garnacho then would come on instead. And it's just, I'm hoping that more proactive instead of being reactionary.
Is it a flat out three at the back system, or does it start with a back four? It seems like he's favoured a back three as of 23 times he's used it, and the back four he's favoured 12 times. So in the Strasbourg team or the system or the lineup, he favours it. Maybe because, like Matt says, maybe it's just because of the players they have. Maybe it's the style of the style of players. Ben Chilwell, in my opinion, is better in a back. Under Tuchel was better in a back five for a back 3/5 anyway. So you can see why he went into that sort of mold with having Chilwell as one of your fullbacks. Don't get me wrong, but I don't know. I mean, this is the interesting defensive aspect. We already saw that he prefers a back three. We've just seen a screenshot from Connor Holden that is showing us that in game there's still a back three, but the two pivots are sort of dealing with the wider areas. And then the two in front, who are supposedly like your tens, shall I say, and then your three forwards are sort of pressing higher up the pitch to press the opposition further up or put us in a position to break if they win the ball. So yeah, it's an interesting way of doing it. I still think he's going to favour the back four with Chelsea rather than the three system. That's just my thing. I just think maybe based on the players available that we have. And how I think he might play with Reece James and Kukurea obviously being very good fullbacks. I don't think we will see a lot of a back three. I might be wrong. This is just my guess. But Carlito, what are you saying?
He's not going to play back three.
Okay.
And he certainly wouldn't be rigid about it. I mean, I remember Tuchel played a 3-5-2 at times, and it was pretty saucy, and I dug it. But he had one center back that he had to play because he was so incredible, but in a back four was struggling. But with this, personnel dictates a back four. Chelsea wants to play a back four. I mean, when people keep telling you who they are and what they're about, at a certain point you need to believe them. When Chelsea's saying we don't want to change philosophy, it means they're not hiring Ruben Amorim, right? They're going to hire a guy that's going to be pretty much a like-for-like replacement of Maresca without the emotional immaturity.
So does that mean they're happy with the style of play then?
I mean, I think outside of center back standing on the ball for 5 seconds and passing 125 times amongst themselves, which does happen, I think they are. I mean, I think most fans would say that they are outside of being too slow out of the back, which Rosenior is not. I watched Strasbourg, so I can comment on this manager. That's why I've wanted this manager since April of last season. My tweets are very clear about that and have been for 8 months. This manager plays much quicker out of the back. He's more direct, but they're still a possession-based team, and we will be too. I just don't think that Badia Shields is going to stand on the ball for 5 seconds and wait for an opening to magically appear because the other team gets bored. Like, that's not going to happen.
Is there much of a difference, in your opinion, of what you've seen between the two managers, Maresca and Rosenior?
Maresca is a tyrant about everybody doing exactly what he wants. And that's okay if you don't have creative-minded people like Cole Palmer who thrive when they're allowed to play off script and they're allowed to improvise and they're allowed to be more Zidane-like, right? And the things that make them great are the things that they see that others don't. And so I imagine Rosenior, who has coached a team even younger than Chelsea, will have a similar philosophy there, Jem. I think there's going to be more impetus for creativity, more room for it. Maresca didn't allow it.
I will get used to it, Jimmy. I can't. It's just one of them words that I will start saying Rosenior, mate. Don't worry. It will hit my head slowly.
It's actually Rosenior, but Rosenior, who cares? It's Liam, man. Liam Ball.
That's what I'm calling him, Liam. I've just been calling him
Ball,
Liam.
Baby. Come on, keep it short and sweet. He played for Fulham. He was good.
Yeah. One of Connor Holden's last messages about Rosenior was about his final third pace injection.
Yeah.
And he talks about, I was just going to quickly fly through this and then obviously bring up the image. But he basically says, despite playing slowly in the first phase, looking to bait the press and patiently wait for openings, Rosenior wants his side to turn the speed dial once they find the initial final third entry. So it says here, builders, whether it will be within the most common 3-2 base shape or if it takes a shape of 3-1 with another midfielder looking to play behind the opposition midfield line. The unit will often drop below the first line of the pressure to bait with a high volume of touches and passes. Then it says creators. It says the unit looking to play behind the opposition midfield lines have the freedom to move and offer passing angles and license to find solutions once the ball comes through. Connections are key, and that's where Enzo Fernandez comes in for me. I'm sorry, that's where you could see the best of him if that's the case, because if he's creating angles that Enzo can now start using his passing range more in a deeper role and not maybe as far up, then that could be really, really useful for us going forward, especially even Cole Palmer to a degree as well. Arrivals by often splitting the two units, it allows space in between for give and goes, drop and go movements, and opportunities for players to arrive with separation from their marker in this between phase. And he's got a picture here where you can see the back four, or back three actually, with say a DM on the ball, carrying the ball, but then every single player that's in the attacking part, and maybe even the attacking midfielders and tens, are all sitting behind the midfield, and it's a midfield four that they're up against of an opposition. And it's quite clever because what he's done is, it's not a compact. When you look at the attackers, and I watch how other teams or managers you'd like to break down teams, they ask the majority of their attackers to be very close to each other. And I mean by occupying the central positions, right? But in the way that Strasbourg are attacking, they're using the width while still having numbers in the middle, because they're committing their wider players forward, and they're asking them to hold their positions. So that actually is quite clever, because it creates so many different angles for you to actually play football through the lines. You know what I mean?
Look at this right here. Now, this may be a snapshot, and it's not necessarily indicative of everything that they do. But look at the challenge that those five players are facing. What are they going to do, right? Because they're making they're at an impasse. They're supposed to be making a decision. Am I going to drop back? Am I going to press? If I press, all that space right in behind me, that line right there, that can be broken very easily if someone decides that they're going to run away from it, right? Someone in the chat said that Strasbourg has, and I want to address this because he's commenting on my comment, Rosenior has the third most passes in the defense. Yeah, no. I'm not saying that the center back's not going to have the ball. What I'm saying is that they're not going to have it as long as we have. We are unusually patient in our build-up with Chalaba, with Josh, with Badiashile. I mean, these guys, they stand on the ball. I don't think you're going to see a lot of that. No, certainly not like Maresca. This is based on what me watching Strasbourg, and I have, that this is how I feel. But no, this is very interesting, Jem, and it's a good snap.
Well, I agree. I mean, how do you feel, Matt, looking at that? It gives us something a little bit different, doesn't it, in the way that if we are going to put people forward and in positions, it's not very central. Like I said, it's more of a commitment in terms of numbers forward, but it's also giving the players that are in front of the midfielders on the ball angles to actually make good passes. And that's the issue, right? Whoever it is that's in that position has got a lot of, not pressure, but they've got to get it right with their passing angles.
I like the fact that there was more opportunities for give and go. So I think for players like Joao Pedro, that's kind of paramount to his game. That, he's very much someone who just, he's a give and go player and wants to get into that space afterwards. And I think I like to Palmer as well. The Lap even as well could benefit from that. So, from the looks of this, I'm it's quite intriguing. I think what Carl.
Yeah, it is, Jim. Hey, if you want to make an omelet, you got to break a few eggs, dude. Can't play safe all the time.
But going on, let Matt finish as well.
Sorry, Matt. That was a funny comment, though.
League games where it's been like that, where pretty much every player is in the opposition half, and there's about 2 centre halves on about 5 other players. So, but no, I think like what Carlito was saying, I think, especially that back line, that was one thing I was very frustrated about with Maresca, was it was just too much ponderous passing on the ball to just kind of await for one of their players to press, and they're just going to go, all right, we're just going to leave you with that ball. And that's when you saw the possession stats were getting higher and higher. It wasn't because we were doing anything effective. It's because they were allowing us to have it in spaces, and they were just going to sit back. So if we can speed that up in the back line, and all for it.
Do you think, can I ask you both this? Do you think if you have a Caicedo and a Santos, for example, in these deeper areas, right? And say Enzo Fernandez is in the middle, which he will be, most probably with Palmer. you think we've got a much better chance of achieving what Rossini is trying to do with the way that they play, because they are very good at playing the ball on the floor. You saw Santos when he come on at half time, cutting through balls into Enzo Fernandez, who was finding the spaces, and we were on the attacks a number of times. Could this really suit us more, having the right players in the right positions, like Santos playing more? Do you know what I mean?
Yes, dude. Yes. Like you look at the way Caicedo builds out of the back. Caicedo is a very good player. In fact, he's pretty unassailable in his greatness. But he does not move the ball as quickly as an elite defensive midfielder that's possession based. Because Caicedo's so great because he does a lot of things really well, but moving the ball quickly, he's not that great at it. Santos is a better manipulator. He just is. And if you're playing 4-2-3-1 with those two guys together, which is what I would do then you have room for Fernandez to play in front of them, less defensive, right, Jem? Less exertion, sprinting all the way back, having to cover their attacking midfielders. Dude, this is ideal. Having 3 center mids. This is when Tuchel was really balling, he had 3 center mids, right? Different formation wing backs, but he had 3 center mids. And I love this shit for us if Palmer plays wing. We will be able to move the ball quicker throughout the midfield. There'll be more dynamic combination plays. And I just think we'll play better football, and it'll be more unpredictable.
Is that because, like what Connor said as well earlier on the comments, he mentioned the fact that once we get through the first phase, that there's an injection in how quickly we move the ball forward into the final third. And then once we get it there, it's like we're moving the ball quicker. Because the one thing that killed me so many times under Maresca, one thing that really used to annoy me of our attack, is that we would move the ball so slow that it was easy for oppositions to get back into position. Right? And we just couldn't break them down because we're just moving the ball too slow. And I used to say all the time to people, tempo. And they're like, I'm saying it's the tempo. We're not moving the ball quick enough.
Let me answer this question for you. My response to this is I think the first phase is going to be quicker.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah, so the first phase is going to be quicker, and then the rest of them will be quicker. Like you look at it like this. If Badiashile and Chalobah are just passing the ball 15 times to one another, what is the other team doing? They're moving 5 yards, right? They're moving side to side 5 yards, and that's all they have to do. And guess what our teammates are doing? Guess what Chelsea's players are doing? They're sitting there being very frustrated. But if you're out of the back, combining quicker and moving the ball from the defensive third to the middle third, breaking that line quicker, all of a sudden you've already broken a press line. All of a sudden there's more space. All of a sudden there's guys behind you from the opposition. Instead of having to play through them, now you're going to have more opportunities to combine. And again, there will be more space. If we're playing out of that quicker, everything else will be easier. You just said it. It's so easy to fucking defend if they knew exactly what we're going to do and we're doing it at 2 miles an hour. If all of a sudden we're more dynamic out of the back, it makes it a lot harder to defend us.
Yeah, I agree. And I mean, when you look at Matt, when you look at another thing that I've noticed in this picture, again, this is just one picture. There's probably different shapes in different pictures, right? I'm just going based on what I'm seeing now. It looks like the fullbacks are asked to hold the width the most. And then if you look at the 4 that are actually back, I would probably say that's probably your 2 pivots and your 2 centre-backs. So it's like a box square. I know it doesn't look like that in the moment because they're in a 4, but or is it a back 3 with just one DM and then one of your fullbacks giving you width? Do you know what I mean? Like how do you think it looks? Because effectively we could do it in many ways. We could go with 2 centre-backs with the two pivots, giving us the 4, and then use Kukurea and Reece as the people that are holding the width, like you're seeing here. And then you've got the 4 in the middle being João Pedro, Palmer, Enzo, and I don't fucking know, whoever it's playing in the attack, Garnacho. Do you know what I mean? In sort of the tighter spaces. It's quite an interesting way of attacking, but I do think also, Matt, that if we do get it wrong, I do think something like this could be, especially in the Premier League, especially if we have one of them bozo moments where we just make a stupid pass, could it really, really cause us a problem when you look at something like this?
Well, this is, I think, then not the problem, but this is where I think Liam's got to learn very quickly that the Premier League is a very dangerous league if you get it wrong, because it's not just 1 or 2 teams who are at the top. You've got pretty much every team has got very strong finishers. So he'll figure out very quickly if he's going to make the wrong, to do that sort of setup or not. And if there is a bozo moment, which we all know there can be, regardless whether it's from the defense or if it's from the keeper or wherever on the pitch, he'll learn very quickly to figure that out, and he'll have to learn very quickly because otherwise we can't keep getting caught out in that way. Because otherwise we're going to have to just have a high scoring game just to try and get a draw or a win. So
yeah,
but, yeah.
Yeah, go on. I mean, I was going to quickly just bring this up as well while we're on it. And it says how Chelsea could line up under Rosenior with possible new roles for Cole Palmer and Esteval and extra strength in the defence. And it says Rosenior has favoured a 3-4-2-1 system at Strasbourg, though he has occasionally switched to a 4-3-1-2. And it's given you two different types of systems with the players that we have at the moment, where you could potentially look like something like this, with a 3 at the back, where Reece James plays as the right centre back for Fana in the middle, Chalobah off the left, Cucurella as sort of a wing back with gusto. I mean, I don't like that.
You just can't drop Chalobah. He's just undroppable. Look at him, Coley.
Yeah. You're flirting with disaster, Matt. I swear to God.
But my point in this is this.
Yo, by the way, Colwell's back in 5 weeks, man. Come on, Matt. Celebrate with me, dude.
This type of system reminds me of Tuchel. I don't know how you guys feel.
100%. That's really, because if you're playing especially if you're playing an attacking mid in that, it's definitely Tuchel with the 3-5-2.
But I don't mind these lineups, Carlito and Matt, when it's against the bigger oppositions where we need to close the spaces and work harder in winning the balls back. And you know what I mean? Like you don't mind maybe playing something like this if we're away to, I don't know, fucking Liverpool or Arsenal away where we struggle or something. Do you know what I mean? Where we need to win the midfield battles and stuff like that. Do you know what I mean? So I get why it could be an option as a formation. Now the second one looks a little bit different. It's more of a 4 at the back, and this for me is what I think we're going to do. The only thing I would disagree on is the fact that he's gone with Delap, Pedro, and Palmer. He's gone with 2 strikers and played Palmer as like the one in behind. I don't see us doing that. I think you had have maybe more of a forward,
That's
forward
4-4-2,
on the left.
dude. I mean, call it Jen, call it what it is. It's a 4-4-2. We're not going to play a 4-4-2.
I don't think we're going to play a 4-4-2 exactly. So my point being is you take the lap out, you have João Pedro up front, put Palmer on the right, you put whoever it is on the left, Garnacho, and you ask Enzo to play the further forward of the 3, you know, in midfield. Like
this team's begging to be played a 4-2-3-1 with Santos and Caicedo, dude. It's to me, it's so exciting, and I know you guys are football guys too, and you think about these things. That midfield to me, it's the best version of each of the 3 players. Like I love Fernandez when he doesn't have to defend. When Fernandez can focus on creating, I mean, I'm like, yo, man. Like I used to love to spray those balls to the wingers, and when Fernandez can do that without having to sprint 45 fucking yards to cover their attacking midfielder, it's where he's the best because now he's not tired when he receives the ball. Like this to me seems so much better because again, Jen, don't you remember when you were tired and you received the ball, you were less effective?
Of course. And this is why in a lot of the games that Enzo Fernandez has been poor, I feel that a lot of that may be to do with that. You can see he just doesn't look as sharp. You know, he needs a break. And I love Fernandez when he doesn't play non-season.
Oh, gee. Hey, me too. No, this could work, though. This could really work.
There's no Lavia. I can't see any Lavia in the midfield, though. That's weird.
Matt's come back with
that on him now? I mean, I can't speak for that.
Listen, I've looked past him. I don't know about you guys in the chat. You know, there's nearly 75 people here in the chat right now. Make sure you hit
let me ask this question. Has Chelsea looked past him?
Say that again, sorry?
Has Chelsea looked past Lavia?
Yes.
I think so now, 100%.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't ever hear anything about his injury. Every time he gets injured, it's just like all of a sudden it's like we don't know when he's coming back. You trip over his own shadow and be out for 3 months.
How can you rely on a player that is just never available? It gets a point even for the sporting directors in the club where it's like we're going to have to just take an L on this because he just isn't available for us to see his actual quality, because there is quality, don't get me wrong, but it doesn't matter when you're not playing, does it? You're not there. So what do you want us to do? I mean, guys, nearly 70 plus people here. Big up every single one of you that are here right now. Make sure you're running up the likes for us, guys. Please share.
I'll be right back. Yeah, I'll be right back.
Go on, run the likes up and make sure you're sharing it, please, as well. Nearly done an hour on this live. It's been quite an interesting live, actually.
Yeah,
stuff. Again, this is all potentials. This could be this, or this could be that, or how are we going to set up? Like, we're only just observing what we're being provided from people that have watched him. And I still think it'll be a back four with maybe a midfield three. I think we might see more of a midfield three, Matt. That's my thing.
You think what two behind and one up top?
Yeah, what I'll do is just come out of this.
Yeah,
I'll do a quick photo mob of what I think it's going to be, so that people can get an idea of how I think we're going to line up on this as well.
Mosey, you said Lavia is Reece James level talent. You just don't get rid of him because of his injuries.
You can't you can't compare it to Reece James. I'm sorry. It's the most no. You can't. You can't, because he's never available. He's not. Reece James was available for a long period for this club. He won us a Champions League being available. What, you know what I mean? Like, nah, I'm not hearing that bullshit. Right. Let me quickly get up this. Obviously, Sanchez in goal. What would we do without him? Cucurella.
Is he going to be back for Fulham?
I don't know. What did Callum say today? I didn't get to hear it. Did he say anything about the injuries, guys?
Sorry, the manager. I was like, who's Callum?
Callum, innit? Did he say there was any injury updates, like with the ones that were out or whatever? I know Cucurella's back and Caicedo's back and Esugu's training, which is good. I heard that. But anything on Sanchez? Does anyone watch it earlier? Let us know.
Oh, Sanchez is injured, Sky Knight's saying.
How long for, did he say? Or did you say he still got a muscular injury? Interesting. Let's just say at the moment, because Colwell's out, yeah, it's Trevor Chalobah and Fofana, yeah? Let's just say. Then I would go with Santos, who actually I think I'd play on the left and play Caicedo there. And then I'd play Enzo Fernandez. So you have your midfield three. I'd play Palmer on the right. Maybe we start seeing Palmer on the right more again all of a sudden. I'd play, depending on who's in form, let's go with Pedro still, João Pedro, because he seems to still be starting. And then on the left, I would go with Steve. I really would. Under Rosenior, he likes young players. He promotes young players. Get Steve playing on the left for a little bit. And if you need to switch around Palmer and him, utilize it and like maybe get the best of both, then maybe do that. But I'd go something like that. In our attack, and on the ball, you'd go more of like a pivot with Enzo pulling in here, with Palmer cutting into these areas, Esteval giving you the width coming in from this angle, and I'd be putting Reece James all the way up here, in and around here, so that he can be more effective. Because you've got the cover here from Caicedo and Fofana, right? They can deal with that. Yeah, they shift across. And the same with Santos and Cucurella, because you can go into sort of a back three where Santos is covering this angle, Caicedo's covering this angle, and anything that sort of happens in this middle, if there isn't anyone there, or if there is someone there, I'm sure Enzo Fernandez will just do that, right? Palmer will still be hovering around here, pressing. And that's where Enzo will then fill in as that third man midfield. But at least if we're in the attack and we're going forward and you've got Palmer cutting inside with Reece out wide, you've got this solid, you know?
That seems like quite a tidy team, if you ask me. I mean, attacking wise, you've got some good quality there. Not even just good, that's very good quality.
Honestly, that is my dream. That's my dream of how I would line up for like with the with the current players we have. This is how I would go with our system, because the thing is, right, if we lose the ball, you've got these two in midfield that will just hunt everything, right? It's not just Caicedo, right, on his own, like we've seen. So you've got people that are good at winning the ball, but also once winning the ball, getting the ball back up to Enzo, getting the ball back into Palmer. James having to come back a bit is fine. He hasn't got to sprint back all the time because Fofana's moved across. There's protection in between Caicedo, Chalobah, and Santos in that area as well. Cucurella is fine because he can deal with his side. I trust him. So Esteval doesn't really have to worry about getting back as much, which I think he will do, because I think Rosenior will require them to get back, but at least they can focus more on the attack, because Santos can come across and Caicedo.
Esteval's been the full guy for that, hasn't he? Because of his tracking back. So then they have to realise that's why they bring Pedro on. But you're right, Louis' right. You're giving a Tactico masterclass here. It's like Pep
Honestly.
Guardiola, where he goes so wide.
Honestly, I wish I could have one tactical game with Chelsea. I wish. It would be my dream. I dream of actually coaching anyway. I love it. I love all this stuff. Do you know what I mean? So, like, honestly, I would love it. I would love to be able to do this. I swear down. Like, this would be my dream. Like, off the ball, on the ball. I know exactly what the instruction would be. It's depending on the player.
The board would still meet up with you afterwards.
But no, listen, that's what I think he, and this is, again, all right, this is more what I want, but this is what I think he could look like if he wanted to do a 4-2-3-1, because again, even though we've seen that he likes to play with a back three, he might look at Chelsea and go, well, I don't need to, because we're gonna be the possession-based team. We're going to be the guys that have got to break teams down. You know, I need to make sure that I have natural fullbacks that can go up and down in the likes of Reece James. I don't want to hear that Reece James can't go up and down again, Matt, because he's playing in midfield, running the whole fucking midfield, which is even harder.
Every single position, like he did at City.
So, you know, the only thing I think we'll have to do is just keep him not playing, but like keep him rotating with Gusto, because Gusto also is someone that can do that as well. Because if you bring,
I was going to say that now the fact that we saw the Gusto last year as well, I think, you know, he's been quietly very good this season, and I quite like the fact he's, you know, so I was not a big fan of Gusto at some points, but but seeing him, you know, and I can admit that when I'm wrong, you know, but you know,
I got you.
Seeing with, I think what you were saying, Jem, about Reece James, if there is points of like we've got to kind of keep his minutes because he is going to be bombing up and down, we've got a perfect replacement in Gusto there who can, you know, a couple of seasons ago was what I would say was probably the best right back in the league. So, and you saw what he did against City. So, but I'm gonna have to go, guys. I'm gonna have to. I'll try and pop back in.
On, Matt. No, I'll be off in a bit anyway. It's not going to be long. I'm going to be off in 10 minutes myself.
Thanks for teaching me this, because I didn't know much about it, so it's good.
No worries, man. Well, hopefully we're right. Hopefully we're right in what we're seeing, but
no worries. If not, I'll blame Carlito. See you later.
Yeah, see you later.
Fine, I can take the criticism. No one else can.
See you later, mate. No, Carlito, what I was just saying is I favour this lineup, and the reason I favour this lineup is because I feel like it's very flexible in terms of one thing for me, is that even though Enzo's in this position here, I think Palmer will naturally pull into this sort of inside pocket, which I think we can now start seeing Reece James giving the support. And the reason I feel like we can get away with it more with Esteval coming in this side is because you've got Caicedo and Santos who can cover both.
It's double cover.
Areas. Yeah, exactly. And Fofana could even check across with Chalobah coming across and Cucurella, you know? So, like, it's double cover. You don't have to worry too much about what's going on behind if you know you've got players that can, like Caicedo and Santos, who can cover the ground and cover the spaces for you. And I think it makes us a lot more dangerous with James in these positions because he has got an eye of creation as well. He can create at a good level. You know, he can cross the ball.
So one of the reasons why Pep Guardiola gets into trouble sometimes on counterattacks is because he plays a single holding mid, and then he still has his outside backs push up. So when you play a 4-2-3, this is why I swear by this formation. This is why I teach this formation. Because it covers a lot of, like, it forgives a lot of sins, right? If you've got two guys in front of your center backs, if you screw up, you overcommit some way, you still have two guys, right? And those D mids can cover at right back. Those D mids can even cover at center back. And you've got two of them. So, no, I mean, I love 4-2-3-1. And if Palmer's cutting inside, which he will, because he's going to really want to freelance. It's another reason why I'd love James to be playing this position with Palmer.
I think we're at a position now, mate, where, like, we don't need to be going, Reece James can't get up and down the pitch. He's been playing midfield. He's been playing midfield. Midfield is probably one of the hardest positions to play, I think, in football.
It is the hardest.
You're everywhere. You've got to be forward. You've got to be backwards. You've got to cover the corner. You've got to go to the other side. You've got to fucking, do you know what I mean? You've just got to be everywhere, you know? And for me, Reece James having to just go up and down here, I think it's pretty straightforward for him when he's fit, to be quite honest.
Yeah, you're talking about 360 degrees of pressure versus 180. There's no comparison. The central midfield is really fucking hard, and you have to do so many different movements. And again, like you said, you're all over the place. You know where you're going to be as a flank player. For the most part, you know what you're going to be. It's a pretty consistent run. D-Med, way different. Way different. Yeah, and again, if he could play that for 90 minutes, don't tell me he can't play the easiest position in the sport for 90 minutes. Because outside back is the easiest position in this sport. So, of course, he can do it. Come on, man.
Leon says deja vu Poch error, he believes.
No.
Also, Poch gave us the most thrilling games in recent history, is what he's
Yeah, because
saying.
we were terrible defensively.
Yeah, it was awful. Don't even get me started on the spaces.
I mean, one of the reasons why Poach ball didn't work is because he played an attacking midfielder that had no touch.
Yeah. Lots of goals at both ends. Yeah, maybe. Well, maybe not. Maybe we're more sort of compact if we're set up like this because we can defend better off the ball.
4-2-3-1 is a very good defensive formation without it being defensive. It's a good formation. You know, you get Levi Colwell back in there, you get Chalobah out there, and we'll be all good, Jim. We'll be all good.
As long as Daddy Shoe ain't in there and tossing, we're all right.
Look, play players in their right spots. Fofana and Colwell is our best combination. And
no one's arguing about that. But, you know, unfortunately, one has, has cramps in his stomach, period pains, and can't afford to play games, you know?
So if he's got the sniffles on Sunday in the most important game, you know, I checked with the medical staff. He can't play tomorrow, Jim. He can't play tomorrow, you know? Those sniffles, those are long term, baby.
Tell you what, it must be some strong sniffles, mate, to not be able to kick a ball.
Brother. Sniffles is just it's got those sniffles on Saturday night, and they just sort of carried over.
Back three, Chalobah, Fofana, Reece with Cuckoo and Gusto wingbacks. Ooh. Yeah, but I don't know. I feel that could be against the bigger teams, personally, just to protect us defensively, but I don't know. What it does show is that Rosenior has options, right? He's not someone that's very naive like Pochettino. How naive was that bastard in his formation? Like, he wouldn't change shit.
No, about it, dude. It was just
shit, basically.
Well, it just seems to me it was very Lampard in that he didn't really go over roles. He's just like, all right, here's the lineup. Now go out there and do your thing. That's just not coaching. Like, you need roles. And the problem with Maresca was that he gave too strict ones. If Liam gives him a little bit more, breathing room, I think it'll really help the team. And again, Andrew Santos is going to be playing. So
he used, apparently, and this is the tweet here from Blue Cow Extra. It says he used up to 8 different formations, constantly adapting, always evolving, whether it's to outsmart the opposition or unblock his squad full potential. Rosenior is showing serious managerial IQ.
Yeah.
And it shows here the different type of formations that, and I'll click into it actually.
Yeah.
The different type of formations he's played against different teams whilst at Strasbourg. And you can see there 3-2-3-2 against Montpellier. Rennes was a 3-2-4-1. Angers was 3-1-5-1. Lille was a 4-3-3. Marseille was a 4-2-3-1. A 3-4-1-2 against Lens. So, and look at the PSG one. That was what's interesting. 3-4-2-1 against PSG. Fucking hell. Monaco. You know, there's a lot of formations there that this guy likes to adapt to. You know, lots.
Yeah, he played a 4-2-3-1 because Marseille plays the 4-2-3-1. That's notorious De Zerbi stuff. De Zerbi's a great manager. I don't think it's going to be like that with us. Again, we have a very strong group of outside backs. Gusto, Mark, Reece, Joel Hatto, who played very well against City, I thought. These are real outside backs that can get up, but they're also very good defenders. So, you know, you got, I mean, like if you have like a Marcus Alonso who could never keep up with a Jeremy Doku, you play him a wing back instead of outside back, right? But, you know, we have guys that are outside backs that can compete with wings for their speed, pace, and elusivity. It's just, I know that Liam's going to be flexible, but I just don't see this 3 in the back thing going to be happening. Now, here's why I say this. Just because all of a sudden.
Does he invert fullbacks? Does he invert fullbacks in these systems?
Well, no, he had a very, in a 3-4-3, he had a very crowded midfield to begin with.
But does he ask his fullbacks to invert? That's what I'm asking. Or does he ask them to? Does he ask them to be actual wingbacks and play?
No, invert versus wingbacks flank positions. No, I mean, you're asking like, is Mark Cucurella going to be playing left back and then coming inside? I don't know. I don't know what he's going to do with this team. I don't know. I don't know what he's going to do with this team.
He
But
does
I
invert.
can't imagine he's not going to play 4 in the back.
Interesting, because that really does have sort of a Maresca way. When I see fullbacks going into next to Caicedo to cover and help in that midfield role, that reminds me of Maresca, because then it means Enzo Fernandez is further forward, Palmer's further forward, and they're doing their thing. But you haven't got the extra midfielder. You play more of a midfield 2 than you do a 3, right? Because when you have Santos there, you don't have to do that. You don't have to invert. You got the players in it.
No, it'd be overkill because now you're just playing 3 defensive midfielders. No, my point is that the way I look at a formation is how you're defending, not how when you have the ball. Like if I'm like, show me a 4-2-3-1, it's when you don't have the ball. It's like, all right, where are my defensive midfielders occupying? Where's my attacking mid? Where's my striker? Where's my wing? Where's my outside backs? Where's my center backs?
Yeah, so you're looking at it from a defensive aspect rather than an offensive
Absolutely. Because I look at it and I think, okay, as soon as we win the ball, where are my center mids going to be? Right? Because that's where I want to play.
Yeah.
Some people say get it out wide. No. When we win the ball, I want to play to my center mids. So
do you think we'll finish higher than Man United? Yes. I hope. I hope not, but yes. I mean, hope not that we don't fall behind them. Do you think our players will respect Liam? Will he have the personality to put these players in their place? Well, you've seen some of the videos of how he is in the dressing room. So, yeah, he seems like someone that demands 100% from what I'm seeing. And I don't think he'll like people not working hard off the ball, walking around and not helping the team. I don't think he's like that. I think he'll pick up on that from what I've seen of him. So
I got a quote from him not last season, this season. His teams have been struggling defending corner kicks. And he says, I'm seeing certain players not doing what I ask. That's okay. If they don't do what I ask, I will replace them with people that will do what I ask.
There you go.
Direct quote. If you don't do what I say, I will fucking replace you. So that's his.
That's your answer. There's your answer.
Don't be fooled by the hipster glasses, guys. He's not what you think.
Diego Moreira plays wing back, but when they have the ball, he plays sort of like an inverted attacker. Yes, he plays sort of like an inside forward.
If the attacker goes out wide, he goes inside. That's fine. You don't expect both a wing back and an outside forward to both go outside at the same time.
No, but it's more like if you have Palmer playing on the right, you know he's going to cut inside into that pocket. So then you have Reece James that sort of holds that width. Do you know what I mean? It's the same.
It's a completely different formation. If he's talking about wing backs, he's talking about 3-4-3s. I mean, it's not the same thing. So
what I can say is that the striker will get loads of chances in this system.
Maybe.
So it's interesting. Jem, are you worried he might not like Enzo Fernandez? Why would I want? Like, come on, guys.
No, he will.
Why do you not like Enzo Fernandez?
He doesn't like Henry Paez, but I think he'll like Fernandez.
I mean, how can you not like Enzo Fernandez? I mean, I'm pretty sure he watched that Man City game, so that would probably answer everything, D-Rav, on that one. But D-Rav, my question to you is, do you even like Enzo Fernandez? Because you ask me questions about him all the time.
I'm going to ask you a question. Do you like talking about any other player?
Yeah, I love talking about any other player. I don't talk about Enzo.
Bullshit.
I've stopped talking about Enzo now.
Oh,
it's very clear that I'm not going to waste my time with people that are not intelligent enough in their own process. You know, I'm just going to ignore it. Welcome. Good to see you. If you're new, please make sure you subscribe, guys. I appreciate it. Hit the like button as well. Leave in the comments box below whether you rate what you think of what we spoke about, how you think we're going to set up tactically. It'd be good to see in the comment boxes below on this one to see what people think and feel on this. Quenda, where will he fit? Well, let's just worry about that in the summer, shall we? Once we get him over here, I'd say, rather than now. But he, funny enough, is actually at Chelsea training ground recovering from his horrible injury because he's been out for a while. So that's what I did read as well. Matt says, oh, Enzo Fernandez. Come on, my boy. He'll probably replace Neto come summer. Well, if Neto continues playing like he did against Man City, then it's not looking good. Do you know what I mean? Enzo Fernandez. Enzo just needs to stick to box crushing, in my opinion. Him, Andre.
Ollie's at the wheel. Ollie's at the wheel again.
Is he now? Has he been picked? Is he?
I think they're going to hire him.
Yeah, for free, because he said he'll do the job for free, didn't he?
You say free, Jim Ratcliffe's ears just perk right up. What? A freebie? Oh, yeah. This dude abuses the samples at grocery stores. I can see Jim Ratliff being like, "Oh, deli meat!" Like,
it's the protest still on? Yes, guys, it is.
Oh,
I've already,
so
that's already been promoted and put out for the people that do want to go. Of course, go in numbers, and listen,
or don't go.
See how that goes. See how that goes with that one.
Oh, hey, I wanted to mention one thing, and then I'm going to leave. That article this morning. Simon Phillips was a guest contributor. He wasn't the guy that wrote it. The guy that wrote it, his name is Danny Windsor, and he has the Blues feed. So he wrote the article. I talked to him this morning about this, and if you read the article and it's free, you can read it on Simon's Substack, and it's available for people to read it. They sat down with the sporting directors, and they're like, "Hey, what's really going on here?" And one of the things that they highlighted that's very important that people need to understand, twofold. Number one, they're not telling the coach who to pick. That's a ridiculous thing to even accuse a club of doing, because if they did that,
what do you mean by that?
They're not telling there has been some rumors that people take and run with as actual fact that the sporting directors were telling Enzo Maresca who to play. That's not true at all.
I don't agree with that.
That's just ridiculous.
Yeah, I disagree with that. I disagree with that comment.
The second thing is that the second crux of the article was that it was talking about how the 5 biggest revenue generating clubs in the world, it's hard to act like them and then also compete with them if you don't have the same amount of money, right? And so people are saying, why can't we compete with PSG, Bayern Munich, Real Madrid, Manchester City, and Barcelona? It's because we don't make as much money. We make half as much money as Real Madrid. Legitimately, I think we made $530 last year. Real Madrid made $1 billion, right? So where we're at right now, we cannot act like Real Madrid and Manchester City and then compete with them. If we do that, we will be hit with financial sanctions, and then we'll be disallowed to do certain things. We will drop points. We will be kicked out of Europe. We cannot act like them. We have to buy and sell a certain way with a club that has ambitions, but also knows that they have to be creative about revenue. Now, I am very critical about them not getting a front of shirt sponsor. I think,
why couldn't they have answered that question? That's what
I don't know.
Yeah?
I don't know.
Why would they not just give us a bit of an understanding as why? How far is it now? How long will we wait for a front of shirt sponsor?
Oh God,
this is
4 years. No, two and a half
years. You're talking about revenue, Carlito. That is a massive. This is that's a massive.
It's $60 million a year. It's $60 million a year, and it's guaranteed for 5 years. You're looking at $300 million. It probably escalated revenue because it probably increases 3 to 4% per year, which is on average with the rate of inflation. So I'm looking at that and I'm saying I'm very disappointed in that portion, but I have been very vocal about that. But the other piece is that, look, if your gate revenue is 16% of your total revenue, it's not enough. Your gate revenue needs to be around 19 to 20%. And then you've got the CST asking fans about, are you okay with how much ticket costs? Dude, ticket costs were at a flat rate for a decade because Roman just didn't increase his prices. Everybody else did. Roman's the only one that didn't do it. It was a special manager doing a special charity thing because he made a lot of money and he just didn't charge the patrons extra money. But that's not normal. No other club did that. But what they're doing right now, Joe, they're doing out of financial necessity because they don't have the ways of generating revenue from their gate, from their sponsorships, and from tournament revenue the way that others have been accumulating it. Arsenal's accumulated a shitload of revenue over the years. So has Manchester City, so has Real Madrid. Okay, so we're still behind the 8 ball because we missed out on Europe for a couple of years and we lost sponsorships. If we can get back to this, and I think that the end game is 18 months from now, we'll be cleared of all sanctions. We won't have to justify revenue on a year-to-year audit the way that we're at right now. It'll be a 3-year audit, and we can plan ahead more. We can take more risks. If we can get past these 18 months, we will be scot-free on the financial restrictions. And I think at that point, we'll be able to generate more revenue year to year. But the end game is really this, Jim. They need a stadium deal one way or the other, and they need a front of shirt sponsor. They just do.
They're the 2 biggest things in terms of revenue that we need right now. So yeah, 100%. I agree. But they're taking so fucking long to get to that.
It's very disappointing. It's very disappointing. So I'm part of the Chelsea pitch owners, and I know exactly how I'll vote if it comes to a vote. I know exactly what I'll say. I'll say yes to whatever brings me more revenue, whatever does. I'm good with either one.
Well, I just wanted to bring up, because I forgot to mention this earlier on in the live.
Benny!
Ben Jacobs on Friday will be. He's just waiting. We're waiting for the Rosenior interview Friday, because he has to do the presser. But he said it'll be after 5 p.m. UK time. So I just said to him, let's wait and see what time the presser is on the day, and then it should be an evening. Kings of the Bridge, Ben Jacobs live talking about Liam Rosenior, Maresca, the sporting directors. Everything. Like, we're going into a big one on here, so make sure you guys are around for that one. Hopefully we can get him on and he doesn't get too tied up, and on the Friday. But he has said to me Friday after 5 p.m. if the presser isn't too late, of course. So
hey, he's pretty good about that though, Jem.
Yeah,
look at how cool Ben is. He's one of the most popular journalists in the world. He still has time for Jem. I love that. I love Ben. I talked to Ben the other day. Ben's awesome. That's great, man.
I had Ben on when he only had 5,000 followers on.
That's right. You made Ben Jacobs. That's what we can tell everybody. You made him.
Yeah, it was a couple of us really, but I'm glad he is where he is, because I actually do like him. I think he's a really good person on the show. So
he's probably my favorite journalist that covers Chelsea.
Ben Jacobs is always spot on in the hierarchy. Yeah. Yes. Well, this is why I want to talk to him, because I think it's a good time before the game against Charlton, which is all right, it's not a massive game, to just really look back on before Liam obviously is announced and he starts his first game against Charlton on Saturday, but find out the ins and outs of Liam and Chelsea, see if we can get anything out of him on the Maresca side of things, and see if what he's heard and where it went, or where he thinks it went wrong. But then also from that, go on to the sporting directors and the board and talk about these things that Carlitos just said now about the revenues and finding out about the stadium, finding about the front of shirt sponsors, see if he's got any information that he can kind of enlighten us on as well. So it's going to be a real good overall chat, shall I say, about Chelsea, rather than just who are Chelsea buying. Oh, they're looking to buy this one, blah, 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 blah. This one, we're not doing that. It's a bit more of a detailed one. So make sure you're here Friday, guys. Friday evening is what we're aiming for that one.
And be respectful in the comments. Ben doesn't wear glasses anymore. He's a serious journalist.
Anyway, I've got a dip, guys. Big up Carlito for joining me, and Matt as well. Good live, man. I enjoyed this one. It was actually real good. I always like to do the tactical analysis show every time we appoint a manager on the day, because it gives us an idea to try and understand what we think he's going to do. Not that we know.
I'm a little weary of that photo that Connor had, but I do want to see some more. I mean, I know how Strasbourg plays, but I want to see how it works within the context of Chelsea. So,
yeah. All right, guys. Thank you very much for being here. Hit the like button. See you tomorrow. Like I said, we've got a big game tomorrow, so make sure you're around for that one. Preview-wise, I don't know yet. We'll let you know. There might be a Twitter space going on, which keep an eye out for that one just before the game. And then after that, obviously, it'll be a bit late for me. Maybe Matt will do the reaction. If we don't, it will be the day after, which will be on the Thursday. And then Friday, like I said, Ben Jacobs, fingers crossed Ben Jacobs is with us going into the evening. So, yeah, how are you rating it? I don't know who's on right now. Who's on? Is there anyone on right now? I don't think there's anyone on. The only one that's on is Judge Mo. Is Lewis on? Is Lewis on? Didn't even know Lewis was on. Let's have a look. Oh, yeah, we'll go raid Lewis, innit? Everyone in here, go over to Lewis and say a raid from Kings of the Bridge. Kings of the Bridge raid. Does everyone know Lewis's YouTube? I'm sure you do, right? I'll put it in here anyway. If anyone knows Lewis's channel, if anyone doesn't know Lewis's channel, he's live now. I'm going to put the link in the chat here. Just go and give him a raid. It's literally here, guys. Click on the link or copy the link, click the link, and it will take you right over there, all right? Big up, guys. I'll see you soon. Take care. Up the Chelsea. Let's fucking go.